All right, we're gonna get started. How this is gonna work, we're gonna introduce ourselves, the people up here. I'm gonna read from a prepared statement, and we will answer a few questions. But be mindful, this is still an ongoing investigation, so there's not a lot of details we can provide. But hopefully today we'll be able to give you an update based on the release that we sent out last night. So introductions, I'm Chief Craig Freitag of the Clintonville Police Department. This is Mayor Steve Kenthoven of the City of Clintonville. This is Sheriff Tim Wells from the Waupaca County Sheriff's Office, Captain Dennis Schrader of the Clintonville Police Department, and Director of Clintonville Area Ambulance, Andy Worth. Again, thank you all for coming. On September 4, 2023, at 12:30 p.m., the Clintonville Police Department responded to Memorial Circle for an EMS call. A witness in the area observed a female on the ground. The witness immediately called 911 and believed that the woman may have overdosed. When officers arrived on scene, they observed a female lying on the ground. A male subject, who was also on scene, told the officers he had stabbed the female. The male subject was quickly detained by officers. Later, the male subject was taken to the Clintonville Police Department for an interview. Officers and Clintonville area ambulance service members began life-saving measures on the scene to the female. The female was transported by a Theta Star to Theta Care Nina, where she was pronounced deceased at 7:29 p.m. This is what we know now, that the female was driving a vehicle on Memorial Circle, and the suspect was in the front passenger seat of the vehicle. The suspect took out a knife and stabbed the victim one time in the chest area. The victim was able to stop the car, exit the vehicle, and call 911. The vehicle was also occupied by another subject. The suspect has been identified as Jordan Peters, age 19, of Neenah, Wisconsin. He had just recently began living in the Clintonville area with family members. He was taken to the Waupaca County Jail where he was booked in for first-degree intentional homicide. At this time, no reports have been sent up to the District Attorney's Office, so they have not reviewed any reports yet. I can open up for any questions.
Chief, can you tell us anything about the motive here, or what may have caused this person to stab the other?
Yeah. At this time, I don't want to answer that question.
Do we know the relationship the two had?
They knew each other. That's all I'm going to say to that. There's laws out there to respect the privacy of victims, and that's what we want to do.
And at this point, I'm guessing you're not releasing the name of the victim in this case?
That's correct.
Other than that, she's a 39-year-old, and are you able to say from Clintonville or from Neenah? Or?
Neenah, yes.
And had she just begun living here as well, or is that not something you would say?
No, she lives in Neenah.
Any idea why they were in Clintonville then?
Visiting.
Do you know where in the park the stabbing took place? Was it along the...
Yeah, I want to be clear on that. You know, there's a lot of information out there that this occurred in our parks. It was near our parks. They were in a vehicle driving by the park, and that's where the victim stopped their vehicle. So it was not like they were near the swing set and this occurred.
Can you address the safety concern? Obviously, people in the community were worried after this happened and worried about their own safety. Can you kind of address that?
Yeah, as I read, we had the suspect in custody within minutes of being on scene. So after the incident, the community was not in danger.
This is not something you guys typically would see in a community like this, fatal stabbing.
No, I believe the last time Clintonville or the Clintonville area had a homicide was 2016. Would that be correct? So yeah, it does not happen yearly, and we're thankful for that. It's a safe community.
And is that kind of what you're telling residents right now who are worried after this happened?
Yeah, yes. Our parks are safe, our community's safe. We have great law enforcement here that did an outstanding job.
When do you think we're gonna have more updates?
Well, our hope is to send everything up to the district attorney's office, and they obviously, it's going to be a lot of reports for them to review, and I'm hoping the next update is hopefully there'll be charges.
At this point, you don't know when this person will be in court, though?
I do not know that at this time.
Viewer suggested that this might be drug-related, that is the reputation. Can you speak to that?
Yeah. You know, that was brought up. Again, we can't control social media. You know how things get larger on social media. It is true that we were initially called possible overdose. The witness, they're calling 911. That's what appeared, what they saw. That is not, based on our investigation, what occurred. We do not believe that anybody overdosed.
So when you, and just to be clear on that, you believe that there were no drugs involved at this point? That there was no overdose and the drugs were not involved?
What we
It was
know,
strictly a stabbing?
yeah, what we know right now, we do not believe any of the people that were involved in this incident overdosed.
But you won't say the drugs weren't a factor at all, were not a factor?
What we know right now, we do not believe so. Could that change as our investigation goes? Absolutely. But I'm here to tell you, this is what we know right now.
Apparently a judge set the bond this morning. Do you know how much?
I don't know that. I'm not sure on that. You know, obviously now you have the name. You guys can check for that. Obviously, our department been working last night. Many officers were called in. They've been working tirelessly this morning, so I am not aware of that right now.
Did he have any prior run-ins with the law?
I can't answer that. You know, and one thing I want you guys to do and take into consideration, respect the families that are involved in this. We've been in contact with them. Please, you know, try not to contact them, go to their residence. I mean, think about it if you were in their shoes.
The suspect did stay on the scene and was cooperative with the investigation, like you said, correct?
He was on scene when officers arrived. That is correct.
Can you speak to his mental or emotional state when he responded?
I cannot, no.
Did he resist arrest?
He did not. Does anybody have questions for anybody that's standing here?
Mayor, do you have any thoughts on any of this? You know, obviously, it's, you're the head of this community here.
Well, obviously, any time something like this happens in a community, it does affect the entire community, but as the chief said, with the suspect being in custody, our community is very safe, and we do have very good law enforcement here. Thoughts and prayers go out to the victim's family, but until the investigation is complete, I defer any questions to the chief.
And if there's no more questions, we will conclude. Thank you for coming and taking the time.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.